Wow. So more or less you saw the starting lineup of the Toronto Raptors in this one. And coming into this game, we wanted to see some more progress. Obviously, with only 2 preseason games remaining, you want to start seeing some things starting to take place, right? Some things starting to kind of fit into their holes nicely, kind of seeing players on the same page. That's what we saw in this ball game. Now, first quarter wasn't all that great. Offense really wasn't going. Danny Green was the only guy cooking in that first quarter. Raptors were stuck 8, 29-21 after the first quarter. However, in the second quarter, the defense still wasn't there. You gave up 30. But you scored 35. The offense got going. The bench did a good job. Just this team overall just found a way to score buckets there in that second quarter. And you were plus 5, 35-30. So just like that, you're only stuck 3 at the half. Not too shabby. But then, the Raptors come out in the third quarter, and not only do they assert themselves offensively, scoring another 35, but defensively, we saw what this team can do. They shut down the Brooklyn Nets, only allowing them to score 11 points in that third quarter. And that is not just off of missed shots. That is called great, solid defense. I can go through everybody. I thought Kawhi Leonard was amazing defensively. I love Danny Green defensively. OG Anunoby got his first start in a little while. I didn't knock down many shots. I think he had won, it was 5 points, but he had 7 rebounds. And guys, the defense he looked out there in that third quarter, he was stellar. And Jonas Valanciunas came off the bench to start the game, but I thought in that third quarter, he was great. He was amazing defensively. Serge Ibaka was blocking shots. They all looked like they were working hard. Now, Kyle Lowry gets ejected. It's a preseason game. First off, I don't know why Lowry's getting all crazy heated. It's a preseason game. Second of all, it's funny how referees think they're being smart firing guys out in preseason, but that's just the way it goes there. But this team overall played such a good third quarter. And guys, remember back to that Utah game, right? Leonard, Lowry, Ibaka, JV, all those guys did not come out to start the third quarter. So if you look back at that game, what if they did start? That could have been a totally different game. The Raptors could have won that game, and there you go. The Raptors could be 3-0 technically in the preseason. But it's preseason. You're just gonna mix and match. You got to work guys into it well, and you saw the starters really didn't play that fourth quarter. Kawhi Leonard did not play the fourth quarter. He got taken out in what? About a minute and a half to go there in the third quarter, but he was great. Now let's break through some numbers here. 46% shooting. That is probably the best number we've seen all preseason. 46% from 3, 16 for 35. That was great. The Raptors were knocking down their shots. Big factor, Danny Green. We'll get to him in a second. 22 for 26 from the free throw line, 85%. Beautiful. The Raptors got out-rebounded in both categories, so if you're looking at a negative, that's the one you want to look at. But something we had not seen in the first 2 games that we really saw today was ball movement on offense. 22 assists for the Raptors in this one. We talked last year about if this team was getting 20-plus assists, they were dynamite. They weren't losing games that way. They had 22 today, and like I said, guys, defense won this team this game. That third quarter was huge. Listen to this. 14 steals to their 8. 14. 3 blocks for the Brooklyn Nets. 7 for the Toronto Raptors. 21 turnovers, but they had 32 turnovers. And that's because the Raptors were just making them work. They were making them throw tough passes, especially in that third quarter. A lot of those turnovers, or at least 10 of them, were in that third quarter alone. Great job by this team. Now let's go through some specifics here. And guys, Kawhi Leonard's stat line doesn't look pretty. You look at his 11 points on, 3 of 10 shooting, 0 of 1 from 3. Yeah, didn't shoot the ball great. But, keyword is but there. 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 steals, and a block for Kawhi Leonard. And oh yeah, plus 22 while he was on the floor. He is electric. And guys, what we see today from Serge Ibaka, 13 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Guys, we've talked about it all preseason. With Serge Ibaka, I want to see him not take as many threes. Mid-range jumpers, get the ball inside. He is dynamite from there. And he had 13 points, 5 boards on 5 of 9 shooting, 1 of 3 from 3. Only shot the 3 threes. I'm okay with that. 3 is fine. But it's when he starts chucking out 5 of them or 6 of them and he's like 0 of 6 that it gets ridiculous. I liked what I saw from Serge Ibaka. Danny Green was the man of the night. 22 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 steals for Danny Green. 7 of 9 shooting, 6 of 7 from 3. He was amazing. Him and Kawhi Leonard combined for the 7 of the 14, half of the steals were the new guys. Defensive dynamos right there. That was beautiful to see. JV guys, only 9 points, 5 boards, assists, and a steal in 20 minutes of work. However, plus 27 for Jonas Valanciunas. Guys, the defense he brought, the active defense, he was strong on the inside. There were talks a couple of years ago, right, about Jonas Valanciunas not being a very good defender inside. And with a guy of his size and the lack of mobility at the time, that looked terrible. But I thought last year he took strides, and in preseason it's hard to get a gist, but what I saw today from JV, I was impressed defensively from him. CJ Miles had 6 points. He knocked down, a 3? 1 of 4 from 3, but he was a plus 15 on the floor. DeLon Wright plus 17 on the floor. He had 10 points in 50 minutes, but he did leave the game. He was limping, but the limp wasn't bad. So if you're trying to find a positive, I guess he wasn't like limping hard. He didn't need anybody to help him off. He was walking up under his own power. There was just a little bit of a limp. Hopefully it's just a quick sprain, a little quick twist of an ankle, and he's back in order. Maybe not even tomorrow night if they want to sit him out. That's totally fine. Siakam had 8 points in 15 minutes. Fred VanVleet played 11 minutes, had 11 points and 4 rebounds. The guy's nuts. He had an amazing game, 4 of 7 shooting, 3 of 4 from 3. Guys, today was kind of a dress rehearsal for what this Raptor team can actually do. You saw what they could do on the defensive end, and you've seen what they can do on the offensive end. Raptors score 118 points. Look, their main guys didn't play much of the fourth quarter whatsoever. And you still scored 27 points there, 21. You still have scored them in the fourth quarter with having your bench out there. And yes, don't tell me it was against their bench, because I saw D'Angelo Russell, Spencer Dinwiddie. I saw those guys out there. So, and Jared Allen as well. So you can't say we faced their bench. Our bench beat their starters more or less in that fourth quarter. But guys, look, I know it's preseason, and I know it doesn't mean anything technically. But if this is the type of team we have here, and I know you're facing Brooklyn, a team who's probably not going to make the playoffs this year, but it's the way this team dug in hard defensively, and no matter who you're facing, you play defense like that, you're going to win a lot of games. I don't care if it's the Golden State Warriors. I don't care if it's against the Boston Celtics, Philadelphia 76ers. I don't care. You throw defense like that against those type of teams. Okay, Golden State maybe not, because they're a freak of nature. But all those other teams I talked about, why can't you beat them when you play like that? Great job by the Toronto Raptors. Their final preseason game goes tomorrow night as they head down to New Orleans, taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. 8 p.m. tip-off down there. Just a heads up, guys. I will be going to the Phil Collins concert with my mom. Got it for her birthday. And it starts at 8 o'clock. So that video, it'll probably be uploaded a little bit later than we're used to. Not too much, but just a heads up that it will be a little bit later than we are used to. And that is the final preseason game before the Raptors kick it off next Wednesday, a week today, before the Raptors take on the Cleveland Cavaliers at Scotiabank Arena on Wednesday. The real deal starts, everybody. I know we're excited. I know we're jacked up. But, guys, one game at a time. You know, this preseason game was beautiful. But it's a preseason game. In the end, Danny Green shot 22 points. Doesn't mean anything. It looked good, and he looked great. But it doesn't mean anything. You got to take that for what it is, and you got to move on from it. That's what preseason games are, guys. Excuse me. Especially with the new guys getting incorporated with the new system, I thought they looked great today. If you're trying to find looks at the new guys, Kawhi Leonard was amazing. Didn't shoot the ball particularly well, but everything else he was fantastic. Danny Green shot the ball ridiculously good and was great on the defensive end. That's what you're going to get from Danny Green. I love it. All right, so you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. You guys enjoyed this video, and man, if you guys enjoyed today's game, smack that like button. I do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below what you guys think of this game. If you had to give an MVP to this game today, who would it be? Would you give it to Kawhi Leonard, who had an all-around great game? Like I said, didn't shoot the ball particularly well. He still had 11 points, but everything else, he was fantastic. Would you give it to Danny Green, who had a ridiculous night, was shooting the ball with extreme confidence? Would you give it to Fred VanVleet? Would you give it to somebody else, or to Ibaka maybe? Anybody else you guys have in mind, go right ahead. In my eyes, it's Danny Green, because when this team wasn't shooting the ball well, he was. And that kind of it caught fire because the rest of the team started shooting well afterwards. But who's your player of the game? What'd you think of the game? Anything you're excited for the season? All that great stuff. And Evan and I will talk to you guys. Honestly, guys, we're not too sure. It's a crazy week here. And I don't know if we'll even get a podcast out to you guys this week. I'll keep you guys posted on here and everything. But I apologize in advance if that's the case. We'll talk to you guys Leafs edition tomorrow night. So it's a 7:30 puck drop, I think it is, in Detroit. As I said, for the Raptor game, it's going to be a later upload. As for the Leafs, it's going to be the same thing, a late upload as well. But they're taking on the Red Wings, looking for their third straight victory and looking to play some actual defense. That's what you want to see. And some good goaltending from Freddie. That would be fantastic. And as for the Toronto Raptors, guys, they take on the New Orleans Pelicans, like we said, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. tip-off down in New Orleans, as the Raptors look to end their preseason strong with a good showing down south in New Orleans, Louisiana. All right, before the Raptors kick it off next Wednesday against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's see if they can finish it off strong. That would be nice, but in the end, it's preseason, so we're going to have to wait and see. We'll talk to you guys then.